All right, welcome to the darkness with me and it's too dark to see Mika, but she'll pop up. 1 second, I need to look at. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot I need to turn on my hotspot because my Wi-Fi doesn't really work. It's freaking awesome, isn't it? Okay, hotspot connection. Come on, connect. Why is it not doing it? So I have to be a little bit less less loud, I guess. No internet? What? Okay, connected, secured. We're good. So I have to be a little bit less loud. My girlfriend has her test in 7 hours. So she'll probably be up at 6 to 1. With that said, I need to move floor fires over here. Okay, so we have it here. I need to hide your identity. LD will go with Larissa. LD though. Okay. So you are a rising in Cancer. And isn't that on that one star that my friend was talking about? Hold on. Stars of success in astrology. What was the one in Cancer? Okay, so it is 0.06. Okay, so gotcha. Cancer rising with Sun in Sag. I'm on my Sag Sun right on my moon. Beautiful. And also with Moon in Virgo. So first question is, what does it feel like to have Sun square Moon, which I have in Sagittarius. In Pisces, you have it in Virgo, in Sag and Virgo. So I can relate. Um, well, for one, there's definitely a conflict between the emotional need for Virgo on the IC in the third house is, Virgo moons can struggle with a lot of kind of how you say, intellectualizing things too much, right? Um they can really, really intellectualize things too much. In one quick second, I need to add this. There it is. Hold on. Hold on. Wait, what just happened? Oh my god, what is this? Okay, there it is. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. So, so yeah, basically like the Sag side of you, which is close to the galactic center, but not, yeah, it's in the galactic center. I mean, it's 3 degrees away, so it's there. I'm gonna share the screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Basically, that's gonna make you a very, very wisdom seeking. Yeah, you're looking at this, you're like, what the fuck are all these stars? Yeah, this is like my full list, but I'm gonna turn this off in a sec. I just want to check one thing. Um, which was mhm, and okay, and then okay, okay, got it. Um, okay, that's normal. So basically, with that combination, you'll have a part of you, your sun, which is it. The interesting part is that it's in the sixth house, your sun. The sixth house is actually the natural house of Virgo. So um, there's going to be a little bit more ease with that. But overall, a Sag Sun, Virgo Moon person is someone who just, and yeah, the Cancer rising and everything, is someone who is balancing, having to balance this psychological split between the part of them that wants predictability, um, that wants that organized life, um, and the part of them that wants the complete opposite, like pure adventure and pure, wisdom, like just acquisition of wisdom, and it's difficult, right? Um, I have like I said, I have a very, I have like I have a similar thing but mine's Pisces in Sag, right? So it's very, very, very similar. And Virgo is obviously different in Pisces, but it's still similar in the sense that the Sag energy wants to just go. It's just energy that just wants. It's all about higher learning. It's all about just going. So when you have this, it it's like how, like the question becomes like, how do you feed both mouths, right? So if we give a symbol to the Virgo side, so I want to say also with the moon in Virgo, moon is very, very important, very karmic. It represents our instincts, our emotions, our feminine side of the yin yang. If the sun is the yang, the moon is the yin, right? I consider the moon the most important part of astrology chart more than the sun. Not by much, but I mean, you could say, I always say 51-49, you know. So the moon in Virgo, like there's an emotion, because the moon speaks of an emotional need, of the emotional needs associated with that sign. So what do we know Virgo to be all about? Cleanliness, organization. It can be a little bit neurotic, right? So when the moon, which likes to be in signs like Cancer and Taurus, right? Because especially in Cancer, that's water, right? So water, think of emotions as like energy that likes to flow, right? Um, I've said right a lot of times. Um, so when you add this, the picture, the Mercury, it creates a Mercury ruled moon, right? Because Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. And Mercury has to do with cognition. It's the brain. It's not, it's so when people have a Mercury moon in Gemini and Virgo, they tend to struggle with issue, not all the time, but there's a real high probability, or just like real potential to struggle with anxiety disorders, overthinking, intellectualizing of the emotions, right? Where you're just like almost like like the idea of like the person who's in therapy, and they're just talking, 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 but they're not actually healing anything because they're not really feeling into like the actual energy, which is the emotions, that can be a pitfall of Virgo moon. Also, the biggest pitfall of Virgo moon, one reason why I consider it a very difficult moon sign to master, is the perfectionism part. And perfectionism can be seen in many different ways in astrology. I have full posts on it, right? But one of the more difficult ways is when it's your moon, because the moon is unconscious, right? It's kind of it's the environment we live within ourselves. Does that make sense? So what we need to feel comfortable. So Virgo moon, a lot of times they see their mother as, or they saw their mother growing up as, maybe like very critical, and it's not always the case, right? But in your moon, it does square Uranus. Let me just scan the important aspects. And Mars squares Saturn. That's pretty much it. Oh no, and then Venus square Pluto, like me. So 3 hard aspects that I see for now. Let me just do a quick scan of those. I'll do that after. But anyways, with the moon square Neptune, also that can create kind of a disillusionment, right? It's very good for high spirituality. And you're born in 84, so you probably any hard aspect that I've written about many times is meant to be overcome, right? So it's like people look at oh, I have this, I have that, and they're like, oh, and they can get this defeatist mentality. I never want my clients to feel that way. I always want my clients to see that, any difficult aspect, it's still a connection of the 2 planets. Let that sink in for a second, right? A lot of people don't have any connection between Moon and Neptune, or Moon and Uranus, excuse me. So the square, it just, usually creates an early tension, right? Because it's a lot of energy. Uranus is a lot of energy. And once you learn to kind of so it's almost it's having you being a Ferrari, your emotions being like a Ferrari, and it can make lots of racing thoughts, and there's just, it can cause lots of relationship issues too, because there can be this kind of desire for the new, for the exciting, and different transits can really set someone off, especially in a relationship, who has this configuration. But when you add the over analytical and perfectionist, which is the cure to perfectionism is to be if I can't get people who are really not sick, but you know what I mean, who are really suffering with perfectionism, it's energy of if I can't do 100 on everything, even if I get 98, I'd rather, it's 100 or 0, black or white. It's very black or white. So the key is surrendering from that type of thinking into a thinking that's more accepting of getting, of some days. Let's say if your day was rated on a scale of 0 to 100, it's a very Virgo thing to do. Being able to have the days that are 40s or 70s, and just accept them and love them, and understand that it's all part of the process, because ultimately the stories that you create about yourself are what shape your reality. And that is, I'm going to say that again, the stories you create about yourself are what shape your reality. So I'll give you an example. I've been needing a ton of sleep lately. I swear I've been waking up, because I go to bed late already. It's already 1:30, so I've been needing 10, sometimes 12 plus hours, which I've never ever been like this in my life. And I know it's just part of some upgrade. My dreams have been so lucid, which I've never really had dreams this lucid before. I'm getting really deep sleep too, and I'm waking up just after 8 hours, just drained, tired, right? So I could either wake up with the mentality of oh, I wasted the whole day, oh my god, I need get up and move fast. I'm such an idiot, I have such a problem. Or I could say, you know what, it is what it is. It's probably just a phase. I'm probably going through something like spiritually, and just still get up with, without shaming myself, and just so with the Virgo moon, the inner discourse is really important. It's really important to look at the interjects you have, the self-limiting beliefs that you might not be conscious of, that you might tell yourself. So with that said, Virgo moons make very, very loyal and consistent people who you can count on. And it is someone who likes to have, who can really succeed in life, who can be very, very good healer, very good mother, very good friend, very good at everything. Like the big battle for them is to get over that inner self-critic and to really be in touch with it, and to not hate it, to use it, to use visualization, because it's a very spiritual sign, Virgo, right? It's like earth magic, while its opposite sign, Pisces, is cosmic magic. So use visualization to like give your inner critic like credit, and be like, you have good intentions. You just aren't doing, like, I want to use you in a different way, right? So instead of judging yourself, it's like that just gets internalized in love, right? And with, some of the things I've seen in your chart, you're definitely someone who needs lots of freedom in relationships and just in general. And you definitely need to like be able to be your own person. Oh, you have what I have. So nice. You have Venus and Mars in Aquarius. So you're an alien like me, like an alien, and we have some stuff in common. Cool. And you have Jupiter in the seventh house. There's a lot of love stuff that I'm talking about. Lots of love karma. And you have Neptune in the seventh house. So, you know, like basically love can really, really have issues for you, or bring issues when you have expectations that someone's supposed to be perfect. And that is shown all over your chart. I imagine you like making like a certain expression right now, like, yeah. And it's fine. And you might be married, happily, and I've learned these lessons already, but I'm just telling you what I see objectively. I've never looked at a photo of you. I have no idea I purposely don't add or follow, or even go on the profiles of any of my clients until after the reading. Um, I honestly like the follow-up to be like a surprise in terms of like just everything about the person. So, um, yeah, basically, that's kind of, and the fact that's on the IC, right on the IC, means that you're super attached to your family of origin, super attached to your childhood, and your childhood has like this massive bearing on your success and career. So the square with Uranus could have been someone who moved around a lot as a kid. It could have been someone who, um, you know, couldn't really, like, maybe like an anxious attachment style potentially, right? Like who really couldn't depend on like a consistent level of nurturing, like maybe like the parents, or mother mainly, but like, just parents we can call, just show you like immense love one time, and then kind of pull away another one, which led you to kind of like not really know what to expect from them, which leads to like a, anxious attachment style later in life potentially. And then when you add a Virgo moon, it's like, you know the overthinking and perfectionism can be, projected onto the lover, partners, friends, whatever. So that's like the big thing. It has to be gotten over, and then it's just like pure magic. And you have all the benefits of like how capable, a Virgo moon can be. Like my best friend is a Virgo moon, you know, and he used to struggle with all this stuff, but yeah, he's very organized, but he's not, he's very aware. And it's almost like like Virgo becomes more like Pisces after a while. And yeah, it can just make someone who's just understands like there's steps, that need to be taken for goals to be achieved, right? But the key is to not be an excessive warrior and to like lean into your opposite sign, Pisces, and find that cosmic love and faith that everything's gonna just be okay. It's not magical thinking, it's just faith, right? Um, so then how that match, yeah, like I said, with the Uranus, it's gonna swing emotions back and forth. And you know, already like just looking at your chart, like you're someone who needs a lot of excitement in relationships, but then the Virgo moon requires lots of like dependability. So there's kind of like those two ends in a in that placement in like a real intellectual connection. Like you need that real intense intellectual connection and someone who's going to give you tons of space. But then they both fall in the eighth house, so it's like kind of interesting because like there's like a whole new depth that comes from that, right? It's like detachment, but then eighth house is Scorpio, which is like yeah, I want to be detached, but also I want to have like a life-changing relationship, like a real deep spiritual relationship. So yeah. Back to the square. So the sun has no hard aspects that I can see. Let's just double check that. I mean, yeah, I mean it squares the moon. Um, and it squares the midheaven, which the moon, oh, I didn't really talk about. Yeah. So just one more thing about moon opposite midheaven is that oh, I say this. Let me turn my camera off for a second. I like to go, kind of back and forth between showing my face and not showing my face. But the moon opposite the midheaven definitely it makes someone like super influenced, like from the early childhood or their home and family life. So if there is any trauma there, which I'm not seeing for the time being, there could be, it has to be like looked at and able to to really fully like reach your dharma, basically. Um, and you know, it's so yeah, it really is like if you grew up in like a supportive family environment, it's gonna like have that happen as an adult. But if there was like a difficult one, you know, it will be work that you have to do um to really have like that security in your future home. But it definitely gives someone a huge emotional need to have like a family, kids, all that stuff. Now Saturn in the fifth house, the kids may have, in a conjunct um South Node, the kids may have, I imagine their kids, Vertex there too, Pluto there too. I imagine that they probably came after the Saturn return. Potentially, you even like try to have them before and it just didn't work. I don't know. Or yeah, very karmic though. South Node, yeah, in the fifth house of Saturn, it's very karmic kids. In Vertex, like your doorway to higher awareness comes through your children and other ways too, but I'll explain this later. Um, yeah, so there's this really, really deep emotional need to have like your safe haven and your home, just needs to feel really comfortable. And yeah, it just makes family really, really important. Um, and you're like usually like the leader of the family, the one that just like, you know, doesn't like, I don't know. It sounds fucked up because like I'm literally like actually like basing my brother's dad, even though he doesn't treat me that well, that he's going through lots of troubles. But I don't even know how to say it. I love my family to death, but like I can't even put into words. I talk to my mom like all the time. But like being in the close vicinity of them is not a priority for me. Like for me, career is obviously family above everything, but like career is above everything for me. You know, me helping you in this reading is above everything, right? So if like there's a family member that's getting in the way of my ability to do that, like I would create a boundary around that, right? But you have to watch out for being too I guess, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, so it just makes like the home and family life just really, really affect you. So just know that, and know how to apply boundaries to that, right? So finally, the square. And then your moon's trine Jupiter, which is really nice because it gives like a generous kind of good nature and emotional nature. Um, and it gives the ability to really enjoy other people's comfort and to see the big picture. So it actually really helps when you have a moon in Virgo, which can be sometimes so pinpointed on like this, that, and like the worst, lowest vibe of Virgo is someone who's just always worried, very OCD, like just like, and it that because like there's always something you can worry about each day, right? Whether it's this person or this thing or that thing, it takes away from their ability to see the oneness in that high spiritual. That's why I keep telling my mom as a Virgo, I'm like, Mom, you need to take a vacation. Like she's doing with all the stuff with my brother who's, you know, in rehab right now, not for heroin or anything crazy like that. It's pretty much basically for weed. Um, and just it's more like underlying issues. But you know, she's just taking so much stuff on. Like, Mom, you need to like clearly like, and I've been playing a huge role, but like good role, but like you know, she's just having to take on his dog who he didn't train well, the puppy, and I'm just like you know, you need to chill, you know, like each day that you spend worrying about this stuff. So she's gotten better with it, but yeah. So the ascendant, well, no, not yet. So the square with the sun, which is conjunct Mercury, which is combust, so and retrograde, so that can kind of be difficult, honestly. A combust Mercury is basically when it's within 5 degrees, and basically the sun kind of eats up Mercury, so it can make someone a little bit dogmatic, especially in Sag. And it can be difficult to like kind of like take other people's opinions. Um, but then again, it is conjunct Uranus, which is like a very big, like if you look at my list of like, you know, astrological indicators of like, you know, high intelligence or genius, like I had like Mercury conjunct Uranus in there. So in Sag, and it's Mercury retrograde, so it's a little bit different, but you know, there can be like the lacking of being able to see other people's perspective. Um, and as a Virgo moon, that can definitely play into that. But then you do have your Sun, your Venus, and your Mars in an air sign, so that helps repair some of that. Um, that ability to like see the other person's point of view, right? That's what air is, one big part of air. And hold on. Yeah, so you have every element, right? You have fire, earth, water, and air. Yeah, you have every element in your personal plans. Bravo. Um, so the sun is also okay. So basically, yeah. So the sun is conjunct Neptune at 7 degrees in different signs. That's gonna make you more empathetic. Um, and it's gonna make you very creative, um, otherworldly, artistic, musical, poetic, you know, whatever. Um, but it can also make one unclear of their identity. So it's important to like use creativity as opposed to like escapist activity to act to really feel that, right? Now, with that said, the sun square moon. Um, the big issue here is that one part wants to, have a very organized, set to your ways kind of routine, and the other part needs to adventure. Now we need to look at the North Node and being in Taurus. I just had one of these. For more clues in 11th house. Because then you have, okay, so there's a lot of Aquarius energy. So the soul is trying to be there for humanity, right? To serve humanity and kind of let go of like you can call them like kind of possessive or even like just very passionate personal relationships. And even just any kind of egotistical like energy. Like it's kind of like you have all these past life gifts, but now it's time for you to like really use them for the collective. And the thing with Taurus and Scorpio, that axis, is that it's all about change. It's also about money and internal versus external resources and finding the balance between those two. But with the Taurus North Node in 11th, I think you're really in this like trying to find your soul tribe. You're really find your place, your true place where you feel that Taurus balance within society, right? It's also a big quest to overcome this like past life traumas, which relate to like which kind of push you can kind of like make you like distrust change, which a Virgo moon doesn't like. They like things being kind of in their own way. So that's why you are a Sagittarius in this lifetime, because you are meant to, love change or at least embrace it. And your sun is also, just as conjunct. I mean, it's 7.5 away from Neptune, and I guess it's 9, but still, it's like 9 degrees away from Uranus. So that's about originality. It's not like a very strong aspect, but Uranus is really individualism. It goes with your Aquariusness, right? So you're really trying to lean into like learning to be the real you. But yeah, just like how like finding creative outlets is really important, and that avoids you kind of like backlashing like with those intense emotional swings that can happen with the Uranus square moon at loved ones, like hitting out loved ones. Because like yeah, South Node in Scorpio is usually like past life trauma, um, traumatic endings in past lives, right? Which kind of leave you with these like deep emotional wounds, right? Like Scorpio South Node is also like the magician, the witch, right? But it's a dark sign, so it's like you've been either and you have Saturn conjunct it, so that's I see that a lot. It's weird. um that can be looked at in different ways. It could be looked at as you being someone who's just very, very powerful. That's what I'm getting. Someone who's very, very powerful, but still the trauma thing can exist. But who didn't want to allow change. Imagine like a super powerful politician who's like, why would I become spiritual? Like I'm loving life, right? But like, Saturn on the South Node, we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, basically like, when you have this, it's all about trusting the process and surrendering. And that's where that newfound peace and stability comes from. But like there can be a lot of pushback from that process. And those are like past life fears, right? That are just like unconscious. So South Node and Saturn, that is like usually people feel that is like struggles to express themselves in this lifetime based on past life. like where they feel like shy or inhibited in groups. And they usually were like very irresponsible, hardworking, kind of like in the matrix, if you want to put in modern terms. Um, but you know, it's like you could have been very capable of that, but in this life of like of like really really getting like tasks, but like maybe you did them too much on your own, right? So in this life you need to like develop these talents. Sometimes people have like a physical illness that they need to overcome, but then the fact that the vertex is there, with Saturn, with the South Node, all in that like, it's on Serpentis too, so it's like just like there's just this deep need for you to kind of like to do shadow work, and to really do go me to really get past a lot of this, right? And a lot of this relates to your love life, so I'll get into. But Pluto fifth house on its own is someone who has like a very, very massive, like they come, especially Vertex and Pluto and all these planets in the fifth, it's like they come in this life and they just feel it, that they have this massive creative purpose. But then with the North Node 11th, they're meant to take that, find those past life talents, and expend it to the collective. You understand me? Um, but yes, there's just like a super intense need to express yourself creatively. Um, yeah, but like sometimes it can be like to the point where it's like, you know, um, like overly like intense like need for attention. So you understand the bit, it's pretty basic, like the Sag squares, the Sag and Sag is about wisdom, acquisition, traveling, like just the adventure, the gypsy that becomes the philosopher, or the gypsy becomes the teacher that becomes the philosopher. So you can see how that in the Virgo energy I explained to you. I don't really get into sun signs, so I don't want my readings to be 50 hours long. You get your sun sign, but that's the explorer. And Virgo likes things staying the same. So how do you balance these two out? We can talk about that in the follow-up. Make sure you take lots of notes about this, by the way. I always tell people to first time, if someone's really, really serious, they're gonna watch this, you know, most people watch it like 3 times, I'd say. I don't know. Everyone's different. But, first time, just watch it through, get the gist, get the flow, get the main messages, understand them. And then after that, then it's up to you. Once I was grabbing a drink, then it's up to you, what you want to do with that. Um, but like I would, yeah, for me, it's like, I always think it's best first time, just let it flow. Then after that, start kind of like, and maybe take like a few like big picture notes. And then after that, like add notes if you want to have the maximum experience. And then while I'm at it, I might as well explain to you what every single person does, unless they can't afford it. Um, I was gonna say unless they don't like their reading, but just being honest, that just doesn't happen to me ever. Like I'm really always, I mean, like I can't think of anyone who's gotten a reading from me and said, it sucked. Um, I don't know. It's never happened. I have been cheated by people before, scams, but different story. Um, anyways, LD. Um, so let me have a sip of my kombucha. That one's a good one. Very gingery. Um, so yeah, that's kind of that energy there. We'll get back to it. But I know you're dying to hear with the love stuff. Maybe you're not. But I can't not talk about your Cancer rising. So Cancer rising is a beautiful rising sign. I can't tell you how many Cancer rising clients I get. I love it so much. And the way I'm looking at my phone, but I'm just checking something really quickly while I'm talking. Hold on. Basically, Cancer rising is like when it combines with the fire sun, it gives you this real familial feel. That's what I love about Cancer risings, right? Is that like it's like Kanye before he saw like crazy shit, whatever, he just has this like very like likable look, like in a sense how you look. Usually they're not like the big risk takers. They'll like, kind of wait their turn before they like kind of like, pursue their purpose. But like when they do, it's cardinal energy. People downplay like how fucking successful cancers can be. And when it combines all this other energy, it makes people you have a very trusting energy. And when your midheaven's in Pisces, that's kind of how people would see you on social media, or if you're a celebrity or just like in the real world. You're seen as a very watery person, as a very empathetic and it makes you very, very, very caring, right? Someone who people can trust and come to, and very family oriented, of course. So when you have this Sag energy, which can just be like boom, it's very beautiful to have a Cancer rising that can um, really allow people to have you like add this it makes your chart ruled by your moon, so it makes that Virgo moon even more important. And your moon's on an angle, so your moon's very, very strong. So your emotions, everything I talked about with the moon is like paramount to your success. But yeah, so Cancer rising is strong feelings. They can be very moody. That you have to. It's very important for you to follow the lunar cycle, because like full moons will affect you more. Speaking of that, even though it's not on the topic, I need my magical tools. Oh my god, you nearly dropped my magical tool. I don't know. Should I try? I only have like a few crystals, but the ones I have, there's really three that I use. This one I use for nearly every reading, and then my Merlin stone. But anyways, as I'm saying this, yeah, I mean Cancer risings. Hold on one second. Did I leave it? Okay, well I'm gonna find it as I'm speaking. But yeah, basically like Cancer risings, yeah, it just adds to what I was saying about like the caring for family and um all those needs there. Um, it just kind of, yeah, it just makes it even more intense. And so with your energy in hold on one second, I'm so sorry. It's this stone I have, and I need to find it. And I'm praying that my cats didn't find it. I knew it was inside a pouch, but could they have pushed it down here? I'm very like not stupid, just forgetful sometimes about like especially late at night, like where I place things. Or most likely it's I don't think I remember having it last night. Is it over? I put it on this desk. If the cats play with it, I'd be so pissed at them. Thanks, you didn't touch my Rolling Stone. Blame it on the cats, right? Instead of blaming it on the alcohol, blame it on the cats. Blame it on the cats. All right. Whatever. I'm gonna find it. But yeah, so when you combine this all, this is things get really interesting, right? Um, because with this, you have your Venus and Mars, like me, as I said earlier, in Aquarius. So that's like, Venus is the planet of love and beauty and all that's nice. Um, and then Mars is the planet of action. So, coming from someone who has these placements, I think I'm pretty, I think I can talk about them. Be well versed in my own placement. So, but so what's even more interesting is that you're not born the same year as me, are you? No, you weren't 6 years before me. So you have the same aspects that I have. Venus square Pluto. Now, I do not take this aspect lightly in the least bit. Um, it's a very, very strong aspect. And basically what it does is that it makes people form attachments very, very quickly. Um, and it can cause lots of turbulence in love. And it can also really, really make it so like that so that your love life effectively is where you really meet your darkness. Ha 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 ha. So people who have that aspect, it gets way easier. Like by your age right now, like I really don't imagine that you're experiencing like the real kind of like low vibe, low parts of this. Um, However, it can be extreme, right? And like the essence of this is self-love, right? Because people think it's just like a perfect metaphor for the world. You know how people think of like like people don't realize that you have, like very, very cliche, obvious stuff, right? That you have to love yourself before you can love anyone else. Um, and people think that love is, the relationship is going to be the thing that saves them, blah, blah, blah. Um, with this placement, it kind of heightens that to a new level. I swear, here. And it basically, it's kind of like Mika, get out of here, Mika. Bad cat. It basically makes it so like the person is like just forms like emotional bonds really, really quickly, like when it comes to romance. And until they learn to love themselves, like truly, truly like self-love, they will attract or be attracted to like very Plutonian, which means like very dark types of partners, right? And the amounts of times, not just my life, I've got friends, I've got clients, I've seen this a lot. Like it's insane, how powerful and how predictable this aspect is for me, right? I've seen it a lot, I've lived it. And as I was telling you earlier, like it's usually earlier in life, but still it's like it doesn't just go away. It gets easier to deal with. Now, what can happen is that there can be, I still haven't found my stone, but what can I do? Is it underneath the stack? I'm the kind of person where it's like I'm not gonna be happy until I find it. But I also know no one stole it and it's not lost. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was something that was just me being an idiot. But very sad. What is story stone? Why is it not here? One sec. Gives me superpower. Oh, I think I know where it is. But anyways, so yeah, basically, it can make relationships like fucking like battlefields where there's like all the lowest vibration of Scorpio, which is Pluto, coming out in relationships. So that's a manipulation, power games, right? Power struggles. All that stuff can really, really come out and can be very, very difficult. Um, and so and I've literally, like, I have a friend, like, like one of my best friends who has this exact in between 0.000, and she's always like, she's literally had got like boyfriends who are like in like the cartel and shit, and like stunning, like stunning girl. Like, I'm telling you, like, one of the most beautiful girls possible. But she's like dating these like fucking scumbags, literal, like, like a guy who, like, punched her dad in the face, like that kind of like level of just like criminals and shit. And I know for her that the only way she's gonna finally find love is, when she actually like truly starts to like love herself, and that's a process. It takes time, and it's not easy. But it's so easy, everyone would do it. Everyone would know how to do it. So, okay, just giving up my stone for now. Let's hope it's here. Last place I'm gonna look is underneath this couch. FedEx, if you stole my stone, it's in like a blue baggie. Like, not baggy, like a blue, like, little pouch. Well, it's not lost. It'll be back on its own timing. Okay, whatever. I'm just giving up. So, anyways, yeah. So I've just seen like so many people just like go through like hell in relationships with that placement. So, um, you know, um, really, really like learning that lesson, um, of truly valuing yourself is, and then taking time when you enter relationships, not just like jumping right into them. That's what saves it. Um, and I think a lot of it, from my experience and people around me, is linked to like when you really find your purpose, or just like someone who you really feel secure with. Um, but yeah, really, when you really find your life purpose, you really find confidence, like with respect to your life and your life direction, what you're doing. That's like when things kind of click, when you're not looking. But when you're looking, it can make one like very relationship obsessed. And yeah, there can be like it comes down to like a fear of abandonment. So the person will like hold on to like let's say they're dating someone, they really like that person, things are going well, whatever, pink cloud, and they will like use manipulation and lying, all the low Scorpio stuff, because it comes down to this fear of abandonment, that they're not good enough, and that if this person leaves them, that they're never going to find anyone else like them, right? So yeah, it can become very like manipulative in like the quest to have the desires fulfilled. Um, so yeah, there's a big need to learn moderation here. Now with Mars, and so Venus and Aquarius on its own is very much like like, like very unconventional in love. Like, we are not looking for dating someone who like society tells us we should date. It's way more based on like what we like, someone we consider interesting, and it's the same for having Mars in Aquarius, right? It's like, that's like a kind of genius placement, honestly. um it really is. And it's sextiles your Mercury, so that's even, better, right? um and you know that makes you like a very quick learner, very perceptive. um and then because your Mercury is conjunct Uranus, that gives you like just like these downloads, like a very like ingenious mind, right? Fast speech usually, fast thoughts, very inventive, ahead of your time. And I wonder if your Chiron is in Gemini. Let's see. It is. Did you see that? Come on. Last time I did that, I was like, I didn't say it before I looked. I swear to God, I didn't look. And I was like, I promise, like that, like I always can predict it. You can see the proud look in my eye. But yeah, I mean, it goes without saying. I feel good. But it goes without saying because like basically like the Jupiter or the Chiron, which is your pain, your suffering in Gemini, represents you being very ahead of your time and very like too smart when you're younger, right? Maybe smarter than your parents. Maybe like if your parents were closed-minded, like maybe they like considered you with your Uranus conjunct Mercury, where you might be like thinking about all these really deep ideas because you do have your Venus and Mars in the eighth house. That makes you very, very interested in all the esoteric, the occult, like the things beneath the surface that other kids might not be interested in, right? Venus makes you love that stuff, right? And with the Uranus and Mercury, it can just create genius kids, but because so this is the crazy part. Because the Mercury's in retrograde, right? That makes you very right brain. So you could be like a creative genius without even knowing it though. And tell your Chiron energy. So Chiron and Gemini, they need to conquer that that pain that came early on when they were told to not believe their own thought process, right? Because like, it's very, very probable that the interests that you had growing up were very like different than the prototypical normal ones, right? And if you have like a traditional family, they might be like, why is she talking about aliens and astrology and like this and that, and but like really you're ahead of your time. That's what the truth is. To be very honest with you, my friend, you were ahead of your time the whole time. Okay, I will find the Merlin Stone after this reading. I'm thinking about it like every 7 minutes. It's not anywhere bad. I'm pretty sure I put it on my nightstand before sleeping. And I had three cats in my room. Three crazy cats, which by the way, I don't know if you see this. Let me see if it's shown on camera. I'm gonna turn some lights on for a second. No, it means I'm unplugging this. I prefer the dark. Look at this. Let's see if you can see it. Oh, my camera's not. I don't know what side it's on. Where is it? They nearly slit my throat. My cat. Right here. I guess it kind of went away. Oh no. You can see that's becoming just like a scar right here. I'm sleeping. You see? Okay, you can kind of see it. But a lot like right, yeah. That's for my cats. Right on my jaw. Like that's like where it's like if they had like a something like stronger, they could have killed me. I'm like literally sleeping, and I don't know if it was Big Boy over here or Mika. Definitely not little baby Esme. Um, who just landed on me like they're like playing. It wasn't on purpose. Just landed with their full claws right here, just like when I'm like kind of meditating, falling asleep. Like basically just about to fall into sleep. Just like oh, like you know, sucked. Anyway, yeah. So if they could do that to my neck, I don't know where my famous stone is. We'll find it. Okay, that's the last thing that runs sense. So anyways, back to all this. So yeah, that's predictable. You know, like kind of maybe made fun of for, the things that you're interested in, and especially with a Venus and Mars and Aquarius, you're going to value very, very like atypical things, So it can sometimes cause people to like shut down their communication, like not trust their own thought process. They can even have like a communication problem as a child, like with the retrograde, like I was saying, it can literally, the whole karma around it is for you to be more um kind of free to analyze. Interesting, because it's the only retrograde planet you have. Super interesting. But the whole reason for it is for you to like analyze the way that you think, because you either like underspoke slash underthought, uh, or overspoke slash overthought, or just did it in a way that was flawed in the past life. So in this life, you start off being more, it definitely keeps you more in your head, like Virgo moon, but it's so you can like be more analytical and like about how you want to think and how you want to like propel your Mercury, right? Now, with that said, why is it difficult, Jesse? Well, it's difficult because um it's difficult because even a genius kid, like with Mercury retrograde, the parent like could have difficulty in school. They're right brain, they're abstract, So kids, um, with this, I'm not saying they always struggle, but let's say that they do lower on an IQ test or something, or they have trouble with multiple choice, right? Like for me, I always to look at a multiple choice question or test and understand why all four answers could be correct, or like at least two of them. It's almost like I was too smart for, which I still got like super high IQ. I mean, I don't talk about it like on my stuff, but like, you know, extremely high. But that's not, it doesn't really like matter, because like I'm still a Pisces, so I still would like I did good on tests because I learned how to kind of just like think in that kind of machine like way. But like, with this placement, it can really make a genius uh appear like they're not, and then make the problem, the parents think that there's like a problem with them when really they just are more right brain naturally, and they need to be shown more arts. That's why family readings are so fucking important. Um and I think everyone should get, or family slash like, child readings, right? One second. I need to write a note to myself. Hold on. Okay. I'm nearly done. Sorry, I had to type this little thing really quick. But yeah, so let's- okay, 2 seconds. Okay, done. So, anyways, as we were saying, that's kind of how I see your path having played out. The 12th house Chiron is difficult. I have that too. I think a lot of it is around healing like the kind of deeply buried wounds within yourself. Um, and it can show up in addiction. It can, you know, it can make one like afraid of death, afraid of ending. But really it's like the signature of a spiritual healer, right? At its core. But it's really like suffering from like deeply buried like karmic wounds. Um, so you have to just kind of explore that pain, which literally leads to you becoming someone who's just iron strong and who can be a catalyst for change for other people. Um, and 12th house, Chiron's like in Gemini, come on, that's really amazing. And it trines your Venus. So that's a nice aspect because that makes you a very gifted teacher and healer. Um, and it gives you like lots of empathy and a talent for like seeing the beauty in people, even like just seeing people's potential, which this leads me to my next subject in a seamless manner. Love. Neptune on your descendant. That I just talked about seeing the potential in people. Now this can also play out. I talked about the Virgo moon, how it can make someone no one being good enough, blah blah blah. Well, love is complicated for you, like what it like the energies, right? Because one, you have Jupiter there, which is awesome. Like tons of luck, tons of karmic, tons of lots of good fortune in who you meet relationship wise. But Neptune in the seventh house is the ultimate rose colored glasses where you see the potential and you have to really take your time in relationships if you're single now, that is. I've seen so many of my clients have Neptune in the seventh house. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Probably because they get a lot of Cancer rising. But I mean, like, you know, people are born in different years and stuff, but typically, I guess probably starting in like 84, that's like when uh Neptune entered Capricorn, right? So it's gonna be Cancer risings that have that. Um, but yeah, overall, you just have to really, really be careful, and have like that. I would say have that more like balanced trend that we all have, that's like kind of keeps it real, a little bit like maybe not boring, but but you do have the Virgo, so it's it really it adds that kind of like search for perfection in intimate relationships, right? And becoming very disillusioned with imperfect partners. Um, so it's like I've seen so many people just like have that cycle of like, oh my God, this guy's perfect, or that girl's mostly woman clients. So it's like, oh my God, this guy's perfect. Like, he's amazing. There's nothing wrong with him. Like, I want to date him. And then, the pink cloud goes away and they're like, oh my God, like he actually is horrible. You see? It's like, so it's like really being careful. But then Jupiter there, um, that gives you lots of luck and expansion in your relationships. It really wants you to like, it makes you seek to expand yourself and develop your philosophies through your relationship, attracting like spiritually inclined partners. And then also, and usually like relationships are like a benefit to your life. And then Neptune makes you attract like spiritual relationships, right? So like very, very like deeply spiritual relationships, not just spiritual, like deeply, deeply spiritual. Well, the Jupiter, I said spiritual. Um, I would say like just like philosophical and spiritual relationships with both of those. And but the Jupiter's in Capricorn, so that is a great money maker, a great for like money and professional status and recognition, right? Um, Also makes one typically like more traditional, but guess what? Doesn't matter because you have all the Aquarius energy. You're not traditional at all. But I would say like that seventh house being ruled by Saturn, it would definitely typically push marriage out till after the Saturn return usually, right? But like really give you this ability to have like a very long lasting long-term relationship. Um, so yeah, with the what I was talking about earlier, the Venus and the Mars, yes, man. Um, my thing with this is that there's like a 22-degree Mars. So that's like a very difficult place, a very difficult degree, right? 22 degrees makes it so there's like, Mars in Aquarius is like the genius. It's like people like very unpredictable. It's like with Mars and like Aries, like you're being dominated, Mars and Leo, like fire signs, you're being dominated by them when they're trying to dominate you. Mars and Aquarius were so fucking like clever. Like you won't know you're getting dominated by Mars and Aquarius when you are dominated or just like when they're imposing their like what they want, right? Very unpredictable. It's really, really hard to kind of know what makes them tick. They are all about humanity. They're all about the groups and friends. They love their friends. And they're fighting for just causes, right? Um, but there's a huge rebellious streak in you, especially when you're angry. And this is with the square to your moon of Uranus and just having these Aquarius energies, like your North Node being 11th house, like you are meant to be a rebel, but it's about being like the right kind of rebel, not where you're just like rebelling for the sake of rebelling, right? Which can happen with the Uranus one. Now, Mars in the eighth, and Mars in Aquarius also like, like just in general, like you need so much space and you're gonna be very unconventional in relationships. So like for example, I sleep in different rooms than my girlfriend. I don't want to ever share a room. Ever. Fuck that shit. I do also have like a sensory deficit disorder where like I like sounds and movements like like one tiny little movement or sound can just wake me up. And I just don't like sharing space. I don't know. I'm too sensitive. Like I like having my own room. You have your own room. That's your sacred space. That's my sacred space. I think that's the way of the future. I think a lot of marriages that end in divorces would be saved if people followed my method. But whatever, people teach their own. Some people like that closeness, and it's like you can still have that closeness, but you can select the moments when. Um, but the eighth house, that makes you like want that closeness. So it's kind of like a real give and take, right? Um, but like Mars in eighth house, like it's about like really probing deep to the meaning of life, you know, in terms and it's very strong sexual urges, um, and just very, you know, within 22 degrees, it kind of makes it so like until your Saturn return, a lot like you move forward 2 steps back, you move 2 steps forward, then 1 step back, and then you know like 3 steps forward, five steps back, then 10 steps forward, then you know 8 steps back, and it's just like it's like that until you're 30. Lots of setbacks, difficulty, right? And yeah, with Venus, it's similar. It's like you know, you will be like if there's anyone who's gonna like not in like a mean way. I'm saying like marry the person who's like in a wheelchair, who you know like uh can't you know like really can't take care of themselves. Like it's gonna be a Venus and Aquarius just because they care so much about the intellectual and unconventional and just like they don't give a fuck, you know. But like the most important thing is someone who gives them freedom to express their individuality. So no relationship will ever work for you where you're not able to feel like you're still growing, right? And if you're in a relationship, I highly suggest a compatibility reading because that will give you all the energy. Because what happens in relationships is that we basically become our composite if we're spending too much time, too much of our energy together, which is like the combination of the two charts. And I love that. But like instead of that, I don't think I think I was about to tell you about the what everyone does, but then I think I stopped mid sentence. But basically, I don't think I said it. Did I? So there's this reading and the follow up you already paid for, right? So nearly every single person is happy. That's I think where I stopped. Sorry for being crazy or just not having finished that thought. Um, Nearly every single person is very satisfied. I mean, like I can't think of one person that wasn't satisfied with their rating. So the follow up is next, but what nearly every single person does, the only reason they don't do it is if it's money related, is that they get the current astrology reading. So and that combines with the follow up. So the follow up is the 1 hour of Zoom, which you have paid for already, where we talk about this, only this. But then the current astrology, usually I charge like 350 or 380. I forget what the price is on my website, but I would do it for 250 for you. And that is when we go over the astrology of now, basically, or the year ahead, now and the year ahead, and it integrates perfectly with you know. So I'm talking about your transit, right? I'm talking about your solar return. You know, a lot of astrologers they'll literally have like you'll have you paid differently. Like I know the pieces are on his website. He has and I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid. I need to message you now because you already freaking paid for it. I'm so sorry. Okay, I need to message you now and tell you to ignore me. Hold on. Your Instagram is. I'm not gonna ever say it. Why is it not finding you? Please say you delete your Instagram. Oh no, I can't find you. No, that's not good. Maybe you changed the name. But I did see someone that was messaging in my thing that deleted theirs. Oh, there you are. You did change it. Or am I just crazy? Hey, Larissa, I got scared for a second. I don't know if you changed your Instagram name or if I'm just crazy. Who knows? But I was like, oh my God, they should delete her Instagram. But anyways, I am currently re in recording. I'm actually recording this right now, but I just want to tell you that um I didn't I like any any time in this reading where I mention your you should get the current astrology reading, like just skip ahead because I looked at the list after. I was like, she already got it. You idiot. You should have looked earlier. But it's really, really fun reading. And I'm getting towards the end of it now, and I will send it to you on here when it's all done. Thank you for your patience, and yeah, um, yeah. Finishing it up, finishing it up. Okay, talk soon. Like I sound like a dummy there, but whatever. Who cares? Why did I save your name? So I need to change that in my files. Must have accuracy. Yeah, you already have the current astrology. So yeah. Um, okay. Cool. I'm gonna burn through November. Burn through it. But anyways, okay, so yeah, so that's kind of like the split, there is just like that need for like that space and that distance and that so you really want deep intimacy, but also the ability to um you know to be your own person, and any relationships that kind of like get in the way of that. Like a lot of people with this, like myself, like we like okay, so I have my best friend Trey. He is the opposite of me. He is like just everything disappears. I'm not calling him codependent. I'm just saying like, he's very like, he has his life, and like when he has a girlfriend now, and like I'm pretty sure like, I mean obviously he's my best friend, but like we barely talk. Me as an Aquarius, Venus and Mars, like you, I value friendships just as much, if not more, than relationships. It's literally like friends never go away. Like I mean, yeah, they can get married and do and like, like isolate and all that, but like I just love humanity. I love friends, and that's what Venus and Aquarius and Mars and Aquarius is all about. It's like really like, and it goes perfectly with your North Node in the 11th house, right? It's really, really humanity based. So just yeah, nice connections there. Okay, moving forward, we talked about the Venus square, the Venus trine with Chiron. Um, okay, we talked about every aspect so far. So Mars is squaring Saturn. So that just literally, so everything I said about you having a 22-degree Mars, having Mars square Saturn just accentuates that even further, right? Um, it's like this contradiction inside you of feeling like you want to like move forward, right? Like really like wanting to like push yourself forward in life, right? But then this part of you that holds you back. A lot of times it's karmic restriction, right? Um, so a lot of people who have this, they like, and by the way, so many successful people have this because after 30, after Saturn return, they have this like crazy determination. They're like, nothing can stop me. I got past that shit. I have all the determination, the focus without the BS, right? But yeah, it's like you spend a lot of time like developing like a very controlled energy level. Um, and it's a great indicator of success. Like the amount of like famous people, successful people that have this, it's huge. It's a great it's an aspect that's like difficult when you have it, but it gets way easier. It's not bad. Good. And your Saturn's at 22 degrees. So yeah, you have a lot. So okay, Saturn in the fifth house is like it makes it really hard to open up and to be the inner child. A lot of these people have to like really like kind of grow up fast, I guess you can say. So usually around the after the Saturn return, call it 30, it's not 32, but like by Sad Sati, which is like don't worry about that. We can talk about it in the current, remind me. But I'd say that's like around like my age, like 30, like 30, 33-ish. It's like I feel like when you really like fully get into it, yeah. But like you really Saturn turns around, 30, like 30 and a half-ish for most people that it's pretty much over. Call it 31, way out of there. But yeah, the 22-degree Saturn is just insane, because it's just like it's just very, 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 very karmic. And it just makes the first 30 years like, really, really, really karmic. I don't know what else to say besides really, really, really karmic and sound really, really, really stupid. But a 22-degree Saturn is just yeah, I mean it's just you taking on a lot of karma in your chart. So in this lifetime. So yeah. So things definitely got a lot easier after 30. Okay, so moving forward, Sun the sixth, like I said, it's making you more Virgo. You have to really have like an organized life, but also a life that you can like kind of, yeah, like organization, but like also like really helping humanity, and also like to help humanity, you have to dig into that Sagittarian side, that adventurous side, and really just let go and have it, see both else, as I said many times. So, and it looks like I'm like ADHD now, but I just need to like have this open so I remember to check something after this. Okay, so yeah, basically, someone who's meant to be of service, and who can who also needs to really focus on their personal health, spiritual health, like the day-to-day stuff, right? And with Mercury there, you know, like there's just big lessons around like managing your daily life. Um, and like diet routine, all that stuff. So it's very important. And Uranus, the interesting part is Uranus in six, which I have too, that gives you a very unusual daily routine. So it's kind of interesting, right? Um, like your approach to daily life can be quite unusual. Um, Also pets. I think you would, just pets being like this massive portal for you, and just loving pets. I can't imagine you not loving like little kitties and doggies. And Mercury sixth house people, can I say? I mean, like Mercury and Sag in itself, retrogrades, like you're really seeking that knowledge to expand your worldview. It's like the born philosopher, seeing the big picture, all that stuff, right? And also really loving freedom of speech. I forgot to mention that. And then Mercury sixth house, it's like daily life is your teacher. It usually has someone who's like has like a kind of stimulating and busy daily routine, but they like it that way. Um, and a lot of times they can be really, really interested in like learning about like health. It can make doctors, learning about like the relationship between like the mind and the emotions and the bodies, things like that. Okay, talk about this, talk about this, talk about this. So midheaven and Pisces conjunct Pallas. So Pallas is the third eye. It's like the higher. It's kind of like Mercury, like which is the brain, but like kind of the more intuitive. I think of it like that, like part of it. That's how I see it. So in Pisces, that's like the ultimate, just like meditative mind, able to like merge your mind with like all that is like really, really psychic potential. And someone who really wants to heal the world through their words. So very good for artistic expression. The ninth house, that is a great placement of Pallas, right? Because it's like you are really able to see, like Saggies are, the big picture of reality and really eager to like teach and share your philosophies. The fact that it's on your midheaven means that that same everything I just said could apply to your career. To serve humanity through your career in some way, right? But also you want a career, a dharma, where you're really, really, it's a ninth house midheaven, right? So where you're really learning about um like where you're really growing that Sag part of you through your career. So if you put this all together, the perfect kind of combination would be something that feeds the Virgo side, so there's a consistency to it, right? But then it also like it's like a subject matter that like maybe you're traveling through, or maybe you're just expanding your worldview through it. A lot of midheaven and Pisces people, they can sometimes feel like overwhelmed by career decisions too. Sometimes they can feel like they have to like make some kind of sacrifice for their career, like maybe they like have the potential to be like a super successful business person, but like they felt like they need to like for their karma or their dharma, they like inside themselves they feel like they need to like be there for humanity, that kind of thing, right? Okay, so let's just do all of these main asteroids. So Vesta is down here with Juno, so they're both in Libra with Card Fortune. Basically your Libra is your fourth house. So Juno and Libra, Juno's like your ideal husband or slash mate. Fourth house, Juno and Libra. The ideal of equality and balance is really, really important for you. Peace and harmony, just being super important for like a good relationship, and yeah, peace. And the fourth house, it's no surprise. It's like, really wanting someone who can give that family life that I talked about, and that real firm foundation, that real rock, someone who can give like who really values like family and relation in that in the same way you do, and who also values the home, being that safe haven the same way you do. um yeah, so kind of like maybe a homebody type, but like also someone who's super, super different and who's down to adventure, but like when you're adventuring, like you're someone who kind of represents home metaphorically in themselves. Like I like that. So part of fortune in Libra is basically in your flow state when you're in touch with your like inner self, with your emotions, Cancer rising. Um, and when you like detach from like worldly expectations, and you're like really with your inner self. And then Libra, it's like you know, when you feel that kind of like sense of belonging, you know. I don't want to say like part of fortune Libra is like all about relationships, but like yeah, where you feel like life has reached like a real place of balance, like, and you have harmony with your relationships, harmony with your friends, your career, where you really feel like, but you're not people pleasing. The Vesta, which is kind of like a funner Saturn, about work, fourth house, Libra. Um, you know, Usually people that have that, like, they prefer to work with other people rather than on their own. So yeah. And just like kind of like really, really good, like kind of being in a team and being and wanting to be like recognized as an equal. That's the fourth house. That's just like more commitment to like the family and the home life, that we said earlier, the theme. Really like the ability to like I said, like look after family members, be like the person that really, really cares. and who might have like, like definitely with your chart with all the 22 degrees, like definitely had extra responsibilities in childhood, which kind of prepare you for your role later in life. Like if you didn't have extra responsibilities in childhood, I will be shocked. Okay, Ceres is the last one, is in Taurus. Ceres, think of it like a second moon. Your moon is in Virgo. Well, it's trine, which is a really like kind of a similar energy, Taurus and Virgo. So Ceres in Taurus is like, it's like how you like to be nurtured. So when you're given a sense of stability and security, and also when there's like touch, it's also very romantic series, right? So it's like when you feel like that sense of touch and like where all your kind of like senses are being um you know kind of worked. um and just like, yeah, being cared for through practical means and doing the same thing and caring through people, like by giving them stability and security and consistency. So like, it goes with the Virgo moon. 11th house, that's just like, really caring for your friend, and just like being like the nurturer within groups. Um, so yeah, like your friends are like your family, and your North Node's the 11th house. So like you're really meant to like really, you know, be a part of something, of people who are like-minded, right? And who provide that stability. And then like, the 11th house is ruled by the Venus in the 8th house. So it's like, some people who can help you in your quest to understand the depths of life. And Venus in the 8th house also with Mars in the 8th house, it just gives you this push towards like studying the esoteric and like the gates to like the underworld and the parts of the world are like less like looked at, are just the gates to the unknown are open. And then Venus in the 8th house, I think of it as like a lantern, like in the areas of life, like death, rebirth, transformation, study of life after death, like anything like astrology, whatever, the esoteric, like you're meant to study it. So it's really good for like a psychologist. Okay, so kind of close to everything, and then we'll go into the stars. We do over that, over that. Yeah, so you thrive through like really intense experiences, but also like through like being in touch with your inner child. It's very, very important for you. So that's like where the Saturn was probably blocking you till 30, but now you have this, this potential to really break through that. Not right now, as man, finishing up. So yeah, basically, okay. So Black Moon Lilith, in Aries basically is, in the 10th. I would say that is like just, it's like you at your lowest potentially, and that's kind of like thinking like you're always right, which is like a very Sagittarian thing, um, and just like not being aware of like uh kind of the impact that your behavior, like the very fiery side of your behavior, like might have in terms of like maybe like overly assertive sometimes, could be like bullying, insensitive stuff like that. It's just you at your lowest, right? So in Aries it would just be like in 10th house, like kind of just like doing whatever it takes to get to the top. This 10th house is career, right? um it could also just be like, not being willing, like just control freak energy, like when it comes to like work, and not trusting other people, like if you're like on a team, like needing to do everything. And the Black in Aries, it could be the same thing. It's just like the lowest five of Aries is like, being like a bully, being childish, being insensitive, and also like being overly assertive and taking risks that are just dumb risks. I don't know. So last thing I'll talk about, which is very interesting, is that um oh, it's your Mars. Esme, stop. Get out of my Esme. Are you fucking kidding me? Unplug my camera. That Esme. What just happened? Is the meeting back? Esme messed this up. Okay, Jesus. Esme. Dad. I just watched a documentary about how cats don't understand screen time, so it's really doing nothing. Um, I just messed everything up. Okay, so basically, we get the point. Let me move this over here now. So we get the point. So okay, let's see any stars. Let's see if there's any fixed stars, asteroids, that are popping out. Oh my God. Okay, so ascendant, no, I kind of already looked at this in that. Aphrodite on your IC. So Aphrodite, it gives beauty. IC is like the weakest of but it's still important. So Aphrodite is an asteroid that gives like the kind of like princess type of beauty, right? And it's conjunct your moon also. So very nice. Very, very nice. The more about the conjunction with the moon than the IC. I mean, actually both of them. So yeah, the fact that it conjuncts both makes you an Aphrodite, which is a beautiful, beautiful woman. And like I said, I purposely didn't look at the photo of you, and I do this to every client. I have no idea what you look like. I just know Aphrodite brings like that real beauty. Um, and then another thing in ancient astrology, I think he said if the Venus is above the sun, then you're an Aphrodite, and your Venus is above your sun. Okay, moving forward. There's nothing here. And then you have karma conjunct your Saturn. So of course, like I mean, that just goes without saying, like that you have like just like everything with your Saturn in the early life restrictions of creativity is linked to your karma. It's just very, very obvious. Um, okay. Union conjunct Saturn, so that's just like potential for like, that you it's just more fate in relation to your relationships. Um, so put this on share so you can see what I'm looking at for a second at least. And also I wanted to say one thing that I didn't talk about, which was that Mars is squaring your nodes. That's kind of like a skip step in terms of karmic astrology. I usually would talk about it earlier. Um, so when Mars is square your nodes, the skip step is around action. And in this case, I believe that basically it's um, like also like action, but also desire and the instinctual will, right? So it could be like unresolved anger, unresolved sexual feelings, stuff like that. Um, and anger, like towards others, could be threatening to your stability. Um, so like there can be this kind of like passive aggression, anger that can kind of like be like underpinning everything. Um, so yeah, there's like a unmet need from past lives for independence. And then a lot of suppressed anger. That's usually what it is with this one, right? So, and then in relationships, it kind of goes what I was saying, like there can be that paradox where, um, there's like the freedom to grow with another's desire, but then like there's that subconscious fear of entrapment from not being able to be independent, which prevents them, can be very bad for relationships. So it's really just important to know about that. Okay, I digress. So let's see here. Let's your Venus. No, okay. 16. I'm just not gonna share this because it's probably hurting everyone's eyes. So you have Urania. No, Urania's down here. Right, I'm so confused. 9, 12, 14, 15, 22. What is that? Oh, I'm so dumb. I'm not dumb. Okay, but also your Mercury, so you have three 22-degree planets. Your Mercury's also a 22. So that speaks to that whole Chiron, like people misunderstanding you type energy, right? Okay. Talked about the galactic center, like conjunct sun. I mean, it's not like an exact conjunction Suga's way, but basically that's just like someone who can just like really dig into like the esoteric knowledge of the universe. Yeah, but it's not so close. Um, okay, nothing there. Oh, Eros conjunct Venus, so we'll keep that one in my head. Okay, Psyche conjunct Mars. Nothing on the midheaven. And then that's everything. Okay. So so anyway, this is another really long reading. I just have to talk. That half of it was, I know I was like messing around for some of it. So basically Eros and Venus and Psyche and Mars. So Eros and Venus sounds what kind of what you'd expect, right? It's very sexual. And it just makes one kind of like it adds some sexiness and adds some kind of like eroticness to the individual. And in you know in that placement, and it's not always sexual, it's just like creative passion and joy. So it's really good for the arts as well. um and and creativity. So to have it with Venus, you could be someone who just could be like a little bit let's just call it like enjoying the finer things in life, enjoying pleasure. So yeah, I mean, like with it's just kind of showing how, yeah, it's just like basically, like, I hate to talk about it like this, but it just makes one kind of more erotic, I guess you could say. Yeah. And then Psyche, and also like very poetic and all that. So Psyche is one of my it's a very very interesting asteroid, right? Because it shows um where our soul feels at home. And to have it conjunct Mars, um in Aquarius, it really it makes someone really feel like they want to know more and more and more about truth, and more about their truth, and they just question everything. And it's a nice placement. Aside from that, let me get my last sip. Aside from that, let's see what else I can see. So Psyche, I actually just had Psyche with Mars, which is interesting. But in a woman's chart, if it's conjunct the Venus or Moon, I know for a fact that it keeps you looking younger forever. But I don't know if it's the same for um Mars. But you can kind of keep that in mind, that it could be. But yeah, the Psyche is just like also like very enlightening, right? So like it's kind of pushing you towards that enlightenment. And Eros conjunct Venus, can also like really indicate passion driven by appearance and the superficial. So yeah. Yeah. So you gotta kind of watch out for that. Just with all the other things I talked about, right? Is the potential to just be like um too kind of turned on, like to really take things slow in relationships, you know? I don't mean that in the way of like it's like saying that you're like quick to jump into bed or something. I'm saying that like there can be this really, really intense attraction, which could override like you know, um, you know, the part of you that really wants to think about things. Anyways, that's it. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. So I'll look forward to hearing back from you. I will take a wild stab in the dark and guess that you'll want to do the current astrology also. So it'll be 250 more instead of, I think it's 380. Um, So yeah, like it's not that one. It's not like this where there's like a long wait. It's like literally you take your time, you watch this as much as you need to, and then even if you just want to do the follow up, regardless, like we just set a time. It's look at my schedule the next few weeks, and we set we set a time and date, and then also if there's any other readings or astrological counseling, or if you want to learn astrology, I teach 101. There's all these possibilities. So just, I have my website, I have everything on there. JessieAnsonAstrology.com. But like, if you're interested in any other reading, message me first and I can give you a discount code. So yeah, thank you. And how do I end this ending or this meeting? Here it is. All right. Ciao.